Well, the season 9 semifinals are here, and I'll tell you right now, I believe the wrong act is going home. Let's talk The Masked Singer. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my Masked Singer recap and reaction video. We are in the semifinals now for season 9, which means next week we'll find out who is crowned the season 9 champion. We'll get into all of this here in a second, but first I want to welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do the Masked Singer here, wrap up every single week that there is a new Masked Singer episode. Next week will be the last one until I'm guessing the fall, but I don't know. It's interesting because with the writer's strike, they're obviously going to be scrambling at the broadcast networks to air more reality type programming, but there are writers on the show because the things Nick said, are typically scripted, and the little things that they say, the little jokes that they put under the panel's names, they're written. And the clue packages are written. So I don't know. I assume there are writers that work on this show. So if that's the case, we may not get a fall version of the Master. I really have no idea. And that probably won't be announced for a little while. But we've got season 9 now. And so we'll launch into that here in just a moment. We've got the California roll, the Medusa and the Macaw singing. And just a reminder, Crime Scene Kitchen starring Joel McHale, that has been given a release date for season 2. That's going to be in 2 weeks. We're going to get to see the new season of that. Should be very exciting. I love that show. Every summer I'm like, oh, should I do episodes of a different show while Masked Singer is on hiatus, and that is one I will be watching every week. So I don't know if it's worth doing recap videos for Crime Scene Kitchen, but you can let me know in the comments what show that comes on during the summer would you like to see me do reviews of? Because the shows I do episodic reviews of are The Connors and The Masked Singer, and both of those are not on during the summer. So anyway, all right, we'll get to the California roll actually last, even though they sang first, because they are the group going home on tonight's show, which I think is a mistake, but we'll get into that. Medusa and Macaw then remain, and next week in the finals, we will see which of them becomes victorious. So let's get to the Medusa, because she sang second. And each clue package this week did give us some new information, not a ton of new clues. But each one kind of said something, maybe a little bit about their personal lives that we can attach some people to. So for the Medusa, she said that she lost someone very close to her in 2021, and she would have loved the Masked Singer. She didn't say she specifically. She said they would have loved the Masked Singer. And she said she was pregnant with her son at the time, Medusa was, shortly after this person had passed. So it was, maybe she did say she. So it was like this other person was sort of, looking after her and the pregnancy. We saw a picture of Sarah McLachlan at the time, and then she sang Take Me to Church from Hozier. And after the performances tonight, each performer, I keep wanting to say person, but California rolls a whole group, so I can't really say person, but each performer then gives us a connection to one of the panel members. So this one was to Robin. She said, both our voices have put platinum on our walls. So it's not maybe a specific personal connection to Robin, but just the fact that they're both platinum recording artists. Now, the people mentioned, Grimes, I think, has never been mentioned before. Robin said her. And then Nicole went through, her list of people. Some she had mentioned before, some not. Lord, she had talked about before. Haley Steinfeld, she said tonight. But neither of those has a child, so that doesn't really happen. We knew there was a child in the picture, too, because I think it was in last week's clue package she mentioned having a child. So she thought maybe with Sarah McLachlan there was kind of a Lilith Fair vibe, maybe Natalie Merchant, maybe Paula Cole. Interesting, because she said Bishop Briggs last week. This week did not mention that, but I think to all of us, watching this video, I think we know it's Bishop Briggs. The first week I thought it was Fergie from The Voice, but the clues kept matching up with this singer, Bishop Briggs. And platinum, I don't think in the U.S. she has a platinum record. I can't imagine that. But in the U.K., it's a lot easier to get a platinum record because they have less of a population there, so you only have to sell, I think it's 50,000 copies or something like that to go platinum, or 100,000 instead of 1,000,000. So that is possible. Ken's guess actually was not horrible. It's one we had not heard before. He thought this might be Dido. That's actually, for Ken, not a horrible guess, but I think Bishop Briggs is probably the one here. And I have to admit, there's a couple of you in the comments that have mentioned in recent weeks that Bishop Briggs' voice is not the best of this competition. She tends to scream, when she gets sort of in that more energetic register. And the first few weeks, I didn't really notice it. I was listening more for, okay, is this Fergie? Is this Bishop Briggs? But this week and last week, man, I really, really heard it. And to be honest, I don't think she quite deserves to be in this top three. I personally think Lou Diamond Phillips should have made the cut. I keep saying that every week, but, for me, the Medusa should have gone home and the California Roll should be in the finals. But that is not how it shakes out. So we will see what's going on with Medusa later, but I think it's Bishop Briggs. The Macaw was next, and we will hear from him again next week because he is in the final too. And his clue package said that he was a lot more reserved early in his career because he was so young and still trying to figure out who he was. But at the same time, he says he thought if he told the truth, that he would lose everyone about himself. And we learned a couple of weeks ago from Nicole that David Archuleta has recently come out, which I don't know if I knew or not. I think maybe I forgot about that if I knew it. But we saw the word vote in there, and he says it's good to have him come back on TV. He feels good coming back on TV. And the song was What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction. It was a great rendition. He had the whole audience singing along with the chorus, and really put on quite the show. A lot of the singers tend to just, even if they're professional singers, tend to, still keep it kind of on the stage and about their vocal abilities and all of this. But no, the Macaw made this into a party for everybody. And so with that, I really had hoped he would go forward, and indeed he will be. And his connection is with Nicole. He said, we both have a special love for the Philippines. Nicole Scherzinger is part Filipina. And so she had gone through a couple of people that she mentioned before that both have Philippine roots. Darren Criss and David Archuleta, I guess, both have some Philippine roots. I didn't know Darren Criss did, but in any event, David Archuleta was mentioned on the show for the first time last week, but we've been talking about it here on my channel for a little while. It wasn't my first guess, but ever since you guys had said it in the comments, it really made sense with the clues, and now with even more clues and him coming out recently, and the vote, obviously, for American Idol. So I think this is David Archuleta for sure. The other guesses from the panel included Daniel Bedingfield, which is not a horrible guess, and then Daniel Radcliffe. Of course, that was Ken's. That is a horrible guess. Oh, was that Ken, or was that actually Jenny's horrible guess? Now I can't remember. But Robin said Daniel Bedingfield and Nicole said the other two. So it was one, maybe it was Jenny. Boy, what a bad guess. All right. And anyway, the Battle Royale with all three performers, or, whatever, all three acts, was Runaway Baby, the Bruno Mars song. Interesting because all three had a very, very different take on it. And I think the Medusa's was the worst one. I'm a little surprised that she is in the finals, actually. I really liked her early on in the season, and as we're getting really down to the wire here, I cannot believe she's in the top two. That's crazy to me. But all right, so as I said, the California Roll is going home, so let's talk about their clue package. We see them playing ping pong at the beginning. We see a little sort of menu thing that says #1 roll on it. And then one of the performers said, this is kind of like a flashback, performing on the stage is like a flashback to the first time we sang together. Am I 19 again? So these are people, obviously, that did not grow up with each other necessarily, but joined in young adulthood to form this group. The song they did was Kelly Clarkson's Breakaway, and the connection is to Jenny McCarthy. And they said, it's our time on Broadway. You might remember the most. So then we were on to some Broadway cast. Now, Nicole had mentioned last week the cast of Hamilton. So already there was one person on the panel kind of thinking along those lines. Jenny thought it could be the cast from Dear Evan Hansen. Nicole went with a different cast from Broadway, not Hamilton this time, but Spring Awakening. And then Ken sort of took Nicole's idea from the Hamilton cast, which featured Anthony Ramos, and went with the movie cast of In the Heights, which features Anthony Ramos as well. He named 5 people from that movie: Melissa Barrera, Jimmy Smits. So, thinking along the Broadway lines. But since the California role is getting the boot, we get to find out the final guesses from the panel, and they go like this. Ken is sticking with In the Heights. Nicole changed her mind on Broadway entirely and went with the Pitch Perfect cast. And then Robin and Jenny both went with the Pentatonics. Sorry, Pentatonics, not the Pentatonics. Somebody commented that I kept saying the Pentatonics last week. I sort of switched it up. I said both. I went back and watched because I'm like, do I really call them the Pentatonics? Because I know that that's not what they're called, but whatever. I did like a 50-50. Sometimes I did call them Pentatonics, and sometimes I called them the Pentatonics. So you guys always are keeping me on my toes here in the comments. So anyway, Pentatonics. But look, I think this is one of the easiest of the season. Other than Michael Bolton, I was on Pentatonics from the jump as well. It seemed very obvious from the harmonies, and I also have seen them perform live. Interestingly enough, that they sang a Kelly Clarkson song. When I saw them live, it was opening for Kelly Clarkson. This was probably, I don't know, 2017, maybe 2016. I had not really, I'd vaguely heard of Pentatonics, but I didn't know any of their music. I guess I knew they were sort of like a cover band, sort of with a cappella stuff. But they were great. They did a great job. But then, of course, Kelly Clarkson came on and was just amazing. She blew everybody out of the water. But it was cool to see Pentatonics live. And there's no doubt in my mind from the jump on this one, this is Pentatonics. So let's go to the Take It Off. I've already fast forwarded from when they went to commercial. They got me on that one last week. But let's hear who it has to be Pentatonics. I think we all know. Let's say. It's Pentatonics. Okay. I wouldn't recognize them, though. Yeah, I wouldn't recognize them. I would recognize the Hamilton cast or In the Heights. I would not recognize Pentatonics to see them. But Robin and Jenny, very proud of themselves. I think one or both of them have been saying Pentatonics really since the beginning. I think it was Jenny. So yeah, Pentatonics has great harmonies. Everybody knows that. I'm surprised, though, that they got voted off over the Medusa.
But to do it and rearrange stuff with instruments, we just thought this was a really fun opportunity to do something we've never done before.
I guess that's true. It would have been way too obvious if it was all just their vocals. And 5 people. Have we ever had 5 people on before? We've had, obviously, Hanson was 3. Wilson Phillips was 3. The Brady Bunch men was 3. I don't think we've ever had 5, though. I'm probably misremembering, so let me know in the comments. But I don't think we've had more than 3. Have we even had 4? I don't know. We only started with duos, like, maybe in season 5 or something. It was Lisa Hartman Black and Clint Black, right? Was the first one. And then from there we got, Hanson, I think was the year after. But I don't think we've had 5 before. So that is the first. All right. Well, look, as we get sort of closer to the end, there's fewer contestants. There's fewer things for me to say because the clue packages don't say much. We already kind of know who everybody is, so it's a matter of who's going to win. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win. For me, I really hope it's the Macaw. First of all, it would... See, I put the in front of everything. I think Macaw, if it's David Archuleta, which, we're thinking it is, I think would be awesome since he came in second on American Idol. If he came in second again, especially to someone who I think is a lesser performer. And I like Bishop Briggs. I like her songs on the radio and stuff. But boy, she does tend to scream some of her lines, doesn't she? Whereas Macaw really brought the party, I think, with his One Direction cover. So I would love to see him win it all. But we will find out next week. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you want to win? Sometimes they're not always the same, right? So let me know that in the comments as well. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week as we get to the Masked Singer finals. Bye.